That's how we connected again. I do this with the players that come on, or who else, if anyone comes on. I open baseball cards. If you don't mind, I'm going to open a pack here, 91Fleer, so it's a little before you, but maybe we'll get some teammates, and maybe we'll see someone you used to play with. You never know. They're hard to open though.
I've got the whole 91Fleer. I collected from like 82 through about 93, I think. Like all packs.
They're harder to open than they look. All right, here we go. So you collected, you say. You were a collector of baseball cards.
Yes.
Still have them?
I collected. Yeah, well, my kids do now. Yeah, they've got them all. I think I had 100,000 or 200,000 cards. It was something crazy.
We've got Zane Smith. Lefty, Pirates. He was with the Braves. He was a little lefty through slow and beat the Cardinals a lot. Oh, here we go. I don't know if you played with him. Maybe. He was an Angel, but a Cardinal, Joe McGrain.
Oh, yeah. I think I can't remember if I think I hit against him. I'm not sure, though.
He was a White Sox, I think, in 96. Okay, he ended his career probably with the White Sox, but you may have crossed. He was an Angel for like 93, 94. Maybe saw him at spring training. I remember watching him, but I don't know. 96 is when I came up at the end of the season, so who knows? Maybe you face this. This is the all lefty pack here. We've got Jimmy Key.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Key.
Did you hit him at all? You remember hitting? Yeah, Jimmy Key. You remember hitting him at all, or?
Oh yeah, I remember. Did he go to the Yankees at the end?
Yeah, he was a Yankee for a while there. He was a tough lefty. He was a all timer.
There was a game against. We played against them, and he was throwing. It was like John Hirschbeck behind home plate, and he was throwing to Girardi, and everything was like a foot outside, and he kept calling strikes. And we told Girardi, you might as well stay in the dugout on the first base line because it's still a strike if he throws directly to you in the dugout. So that's what I remember about Jimmy Key.
See, that's what we're looking for, stories. I think this guy may have been a coach on the Angels. We got Mickey Hatcher.
Mickey Hatcher? Oh, yeah. So Hatcher was my hitting coach for the Angels for 4 years. And so before I got to the Cardinals, I had a full goatee. Now, with the Angels, I used to put red streaks on my hair, and then in my goatee, I had this red, but the rest was black. And so when I did it, I got really hot. And so, but I did, like with the Cardinals, I dyed it every day. With the Angels, I had somebody do it, and then it would fade out. So if I wasn't hitting good, he'd take a red Sharpie and color it in for me before I went to the plate. And it worked.
And he was a nut. I remember he was a nut job type guy when he played for the Dodgers, but he was part of that 88 team that people love, and that's how I remember him, because he was on that team, and I think he did a home run in the World Series.
He did.
This is one of my favorites, and I'm so happy to see that we've got Andy Bennis again here. This is he was on this last. He was the last guy I think I interviewed, but we got Andy Bennis. I don't know if you knew him at all, but look how young that guy looks.
Yeah. So Andy Bennis, his brother Alan Bennis was a prospect around here, and both of us went to the University of Illinois on a recruiting trip. I think he ended up going to Creighton instead, but so I got to know Alan pretty well. And one thing I remember about Andy Bennis, I think he made the All-Star team one time, and Harry Carey for some reason was talking about the All-Star lineup, and I just remember Harry Carey saying, and Andy Bennis from South Dakota. Not San Diego, but South Dakota. Good old Harry.
I'll do it. I like doing it. Here's Andy Bennis from South Dakota. All right. I don't know if you remember Kevin Elster here.
Oh, I remember Elster. Yeah, was he shortstop?
Yeah, he was a Met for a while, and then I know he made it, I think, a Ranger maybe, but he played a long time.
Phillies or something, yeah. Yeah, I remember watching him.
These are ugly cards by this 91Fleer. Yellow. Who went with yellow?
Not the greatest.
Okay, I don't Sergio Valdez, I sort of remember, but I'm going to guess this is just another reliever.
I don't remember him.
We'll move on. Okay, here's a good one. This guy was tough. I think might have been an Angel. Kevin Apier, did he become an Angel?
Apier. Oh, yeah. I played with Apier with Oakland. When he was with Oakland, he was with me. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, he was with me with Oakland. And then when I went to the Angels, I remember I hit 2 home runs off him, like one of the first games that I went back to play in Oakland. And I was mad because I was pissed that they let me go. Thank God they did, though, because, it was way better going to the Angels and winning the World Series. But, then he came to the Angels, and he actually was on our 2002. I think he was our number 2 pitcher.
Looks like he's really giving it all right here, though, huh? He's really into that windup.
Yeah, he was a different breed, man. I remember we were up 5-0. I think going into the second inning in game like 2 of the World Series. I think it was game 2, if I remember right. And we were walking Bonds all the time, and we were up 5-0, and Bonds was leading off the inning because he was the 4th hitter. And Sosa said, "Hey, just go after him." Well, he walked him, like on 4 pitches. He was scared of him. And Bonds gets to first base, and he's like, "Man, they still walking me." I'm like, "Well, actually, no." Sosa said, you should throw to him." And he goes, "He can't throw to me. He throws over the plate, it's gone." So I'm like, "Wow, that guy's confident." But he's right. Everything we threw him over the plate, he hit, and not only hit, but hit about 500 feet.
Well, I think the one off of Percival is like memorable. It was like a shooting star. This is into the night. It was beautiful. I don't know if Troy loved it, but it was a beautiful shot for.
Oh, he didn't mind it. He said, "I'm going to challenge him." We still had a run, so we had 2. He had a 2-run lead, and he just went after him. It was fun to watch.
It's a St. Louisan or a South Dakotan. This is Scott Cooper, former Red Sox.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah,
he was a good hitter. I think he was a batting. I don't think he was a batting. I was going to say a batting title winner, but no.
Yeah, he was a good hitter. I remember that.
Curtis Wilkerson comes up all the time. Just a Cub, just a little guy.
Yeah, I remember watching him play.
We got Cardinal here. Todd Worrell, fireman, closer. I think he was out of the league by the time you were in. Great mustache there on the back, though. Fu Manchuing it. Still.
With his brother, Tim Worrell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played with him in Oakland, and then we faced him in the World Series. He was with the Giants. His brother and I used to have fun. I remember in Cleveland, we'd go to I don't know if it was a Dave and Buster's or ESPN Zone or something like that. And we'd be super competitive playing, Papa Shot and, all those games in the arcade, but it was a lot of fun.
Last one, and I was going to ask about this. I know he was a teammate, and I was shocked by this when I did my research. 1997, teammate of yours, one of the Bash brothers. What was that like playing with? And in '97, you had McGwire and you had Canseco on the same team. Canseco obviously was back from the Texas Rangers and Red Sox in his last year, I think. What was that like playing with those guys?
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, it was different. I don't think they were as close as they were earlier in their career.
It kind of it went a little sideways after that, I think, too.
Yeah. It was neat. We were hoping that they'd start doing the Bass Brothers stuff again, but they never did the 4-on bashes and stuff. But I was pretty close to McGwire and Giambi. McGwire always kind of took me under his wing, but he always was messing with me. And Giambi was, I think, only a year older than me, so him and I were pretty good buddies too. The Canseco he was kind of a different breed, but he was hilarious. He'd do a lot of funny stuff, And then, actually, I think somewhere with the Angels one year, he was in spring training with us, and I remember him saying that he could still run like a 4.3 down the first or whatever, and I was like, okay, I think I can beat you. He's like, you want to race? And we raced from the foul line, and he pulled his hamstring, and then he pulled it so bad they cut him in spring training. So that was the last. I don't know if he ever played again after that, but he always had some kind of business proposition too. Like he was going to start a financial management company, or he was something. I'm still friends with him on Facebook. I haven't talked to him in a while though. We were trying to get him to see if he'd play in our league, for fun, but he said he needed so much money per game and paid in cash before the game started. So, we couldn't do it, but it would have been fun.
There's probably a 30 for 30 in that guy, because that's funny. I remember back when he was huge in the 80s, late 80s, he had his own hotline. You could call it, and he would talk about what he did that night. Hey, yeah, there's Jose. I'm in Minnesota. Boy, there's no bars here open after 1. It was hilarious to me. I didn't call it. I'm not.
Oh my God!
But it did. That's what they played on the thing. Scott, that's all the baseball cards I have. I think I've gone way too long. I apologize, but I appreciate the time. I know you got a big game tonight. Anything you want to mention? I know your dad was you and him were gonna have a special bobblehead that they were gonna give away at the Cardinal game. It sucks that we can't go to the games this year. Maybe next year we'll see you here at Busch. But anything you want to talk about your team and how to get tickets and let people know that they can still watch baseball in person if they're in the St. Louis area and they want to drive up to Joliet?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the mood to see some good baseball, some live baseball, if you just go to Joliet Slammers website, call them direct or buy online. I think they're $15 a piece. Joliet, Illinois, it's right downtown. We're playing through September 6th is the last game, so it should be fun. Yeah, the bobblehead was supposed to be, I think, this June 14th or something like that. I don't know how many they were. I don't know if they're selling them, if there was 1,000, 10,000. I'm not sure. I was trying to ask Larry State that question before we got on to see if I could have it for everybody. But I posted about it, and now everybody from my hometown and my family's like, I want one. So it should be fun. It's kind of a neat thing. Being the only father-son to win win a World Series with the same organization. I'm pretty sure we're the only one with 2 apiece too. So. For both of us to have that bobblehead with, both of us wearing 26 for the Cardinals, with 11 championships under the organization's belt is pretty special, So other than that, I was thinking about having a Soul Patch podcast where I did a pilot podcast with a doctor and a therapist. He also owns a rehab center in West Palm Beach, Florida. And, we might go ahead with that. It looked pretty good. We're fine-tuning it, but it's just where, I would talk to ex-teammates or ex-baseball players that had problems. Like Jason Grimsley was the guy that was going to be on it. And, maybe a guy like Dave Mustaine from Megadeth or Clint Lowry from Seven Dust or, other Duff McKeon from Guns N' Roses. There's a lot of players and musicians I know that struggle with that. And also, like maybe my dad was going to be on it and talk about, family. He's never dealt. My parents were never drinkers or anything like that. And so for them to go through it and, kind of get blindsided by it because, I was never a drinker. And then all of a sudden, late in my career in life, it happened. So it was going to be, it's going to be something like that. I don't know exactly what format we're going to have it in, but I'll let you know if we end up doing it here soon. I'll give you a heads up on it.
We'll promote it. And again, everyone has a podcast now, so congrats. It's like public access, I always say. And this rock and roll thing, that's a super group of people right there. I did not know you had such a great Rolodex of rock and roll people. Maybe the next time we chat here in a couple months, maybe next year, we talk rock and roll, because I'm a huge rock and roll fan. I had no idea you knew Dave Mustaine and Duff McKagan. I mean, right there, that's a super group.
Yeah, Zach Wilde. I mean, there's from REO Speedwagon to Avenged Sevenfold.
Wait, if you know Kevin Cronin, we're going to have a problem. Are you friends with Kevin Cronin?
Oh, yeah. I got up and sang with him. I was up there singing Keep On Rolling. It was actually in 2007, right after I got out of rehab. I was up on stage down there. It used to be called like the Tweeter Center or something like that. And I'm like, they're like, get up and start singing. I'm like, which song? They go, just sing Keep On Rolling. I'm like, all right. So
it does get very easy at the end. Just keep on rolling. I remember it was the mid-'90s before I even knew they were from kind of Urbana, Champaign, that there was 4 guys walking around Busch Stadium with long hair, and then it got out, oh, REO Speedwagon's here. I'm like, makes sense. That's got to be them. But that's very cool. Well, you have some stories. You need a book.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I was backstage to a lot of stuff. Korn and, Aerosmith and...
Oh, tell me an Aerosmith story. Let's end on an Aerosmith story. That's one of my favorite. Them and Foo Fighters.
I don't really have any great ones with them, but they had me set up where it was in Boston with Kid Rock. Kid Rock was opening for them, so it was amazing. And then, of course, we had we got Steven Tyler to come in and sing "God Bless America" for the Cardinals. But I mean, there's great Kid Rock. I saw him backstage in Chicago, like in it would have been January in 2000. That's where I met Seven Dust. Metallica was there. We were drinking and stuff then, but I would drink a little bit, but it was more like here and there, But I remember going out with David Wells and Lars Ulrich from Metallica during spring training in 2005, and we were out a little bit too long. I think we didn't get back till like 6 a.m. and I showed up at spring training. I think he was with the Padres at the time. I was with the Mariners, and we shared a complex, and David Wells didn't show up that day. So, but there was some fun times. There was a lot of guys. Zach Wilde, who played with Ozzy. He had some issues, and now he's putting this over and has been for a long time. And the Seven Dust guys, I've been friends with them, big friends with them, especially Morgan. I've seen those guys probably 50 times. And been in the studio with them when they recorded their own albums. Micah Inez from Alice in Chains. Played Johnny Tempesta from
okay, enough names dropped, Scott. We got it. This is amazing. I did not realize you had all those connect. Those are great stories. I remember the Steven Tyler one's funny. Is a buddy of mine. We went to that game that he sang at Busch Stadium in the 7th inning or whatever it was. And before that happened, my buddy went to the bathroom. He goes, there's a guy who looks like Steven Tyler taking a piss in the bathroom. And this is before he came out. And so he comes out to do his thing. He was like, holy, that was Steven Tyler. And I guess Steven Tyler's just walking around the ballpark before that happened. So that's pretty funny to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, after the 2002 World Series, I had my band out there for the whole playoffs. And I had like 45 people. It cost me like $50,000 to have everybody out there, with tickets and hotels and flights and stuff. And we were supposed to, they wanted us to play the Best Damn Sports Show, period. And my band's like, we got to go back to work. So I was scrambling, and I got Slash. My buddy Scott Uchida, who worked for Dunlap Manufacturing, pedal company, picks, all that stuff, knew all these musicians. And he's the one that really introduced me to everyone. And so he got Duff and Slash and Matt Sorum as my guitar, my bass and drums, and then at the last second, like Scott Whelan started coming in the picture, and they started Velvet Revolver, and so then I was like, man, we're supposed to play in 2 days on the show, and I got to teach him one of my songs, which is cool. So he ended up getting Mike Inez, Johnny Tempesta, and Zach Wilde to be my backup group. All bands I love too, like Zombie, Alice in Chains, and of course Ozzy. And then Zach also has Black Label Society, but they got together. We got together. I got a place to rehearse for one night. We played my song like twice, and all we did the other times was play other songs from Alice in Chains, and I was trying to sing with them, and I've got it on video somewhere. But we got to the thing the next day, and it was Jim Miller. Yeah, what's the guy's name? Jim Rome. So we were at Fox, and I got these guys. We barely know my song, which I wrote like under the sheets, in Seattle one day, trying to sing and play guitar. I didn't want to wake up, people in the hotel room next to me. And we get there, and Jim Rome is on his last show, and we're there at 10 in the morning, and Zach's drinking his sarsaparillas, is what he called them, his beer that early. At that time I wasn't, but he's blaring. He's got 6 Marshall half stacks. We got 4 Ampeg 8x12 amps blaring, and Jim Rome is yelling, "Tell him to shut up! I'm trying to tape my last show, before he moved networks." And Zach Wild's yelling on there, "Tell him to call me Chris. Tell him to call me Chris. I'll beat your blank and blank." And we recorded it. Those guys were killing it. Zach didn't really know the words to the part of the song, and I only had 2 or 3 wedges in front of me. I couldn't hear a thing. I'm like trying to see if I'm on key, and it's on YouTube. If you look it up, it's I don't sound that great, but it's pretty neat to have guys that you worshiped as far as musicians play one of your songs that you wrote, and have it last forever on YouTube now. So yeah, look it up. It's Scott Spiezio, Zach Wild, Mike Inez on the Best Damn Sports Show.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I said, now we're going to be talking music the next time, I think, more than anything else. Like I said all the time, and it's just great to see that things are going well for you, and good to see that you're back with your family and up in Illinois and just kind of living life again. It's awesome. So Scott, appreciate you joining. This is Here's the Pitch, and it's sponsored by Masters Restaurants, 5 locations, stlmasters.com. That'll do it. We'll see you next time.